Big fan of Jack Sawyer. Another guy that we're big fans of, Dolan, that I have at edge 5 and you have at edge 4 is Donovan Ezeiruaku from Boston College. What do you like about him?
You want pressure?
Yeah.
This is pressure right here. This is someone squarely in the category of pass rusher that of a guy that just knows what he's doing, right? And you see as you watch games in sequence, and you could watch one game, and it was his very last one against Pitt, the last week of the season, 14 pressures and 4 sacks in one game. It brings you back to Aiden Hutchinson against Ohio State, right? That legendary game he had. But Ezeiruaku, when you watch him in sequence, and he's got very long arms for his size because he's only, about 6'1", 6'2". The combination of length, hand usage, lateral quickness. He can cross an offensive tackle's face like nothing, like with ease. I'm telling you, he can get to the inside gap, and he's got a plan at all times. When you watch him throughout a game in sequence, and he goes from one move to the next, and then the ghost moves, and then the spin moves. I mean, just the entire arsenal layers itself off of each other, right? And you're talking about a guy, I think the one of the things I wrote in my notes here was, don't let him get hot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this pass rushers who it's like you can feel them all of a sudden. They find that rhythm, and then it feels like they're getting pressure every single play for a quarter and a half. Like, Ezeiruaku is that guy. Now, I think his first step vertically up the field is average to maybe above average. I think his lateral quickness is a little better than his straight line speed, let's say. I think there's times when he can be a little high with the pad level, working inside in the run game or the passing game. And I think sometimes he'll sell out just a little bit too much on read options. He's really the guy that you can attack because he wants to come down and make plays. He can get a little antsy in open space. But if you want a pass rusher, I know Travis talked about him for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a lot, probably because he wants him down there, which would make a lot of sense. You're talking about a guy who, again, I think about like he's one of these heat check pass rushers.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense where it's just like you don't want to be sitting there dropping back when Donovan Ezeiruaku's off the edge and he gets the sequence going multiple plays in a row. He's really good. I'll be honest with you. He's very, very good. I think he's going to help a team's pass rush a lot.
He is kind of the Laiatu Latu of this year's draft.
It's a good call.
Where it's just like there is nobody in this draft that has a better pass rush plan than Donovan Ezeiruaku. There are freakier players, and we'll get into the guys later on, like Abdul Carter and James Pierce Jr. and other guys who are just freak athletes. Ezeiruaku is he's a good athlete. He's above average, whatever. But nobody has a better plan as a pass rusher than Donovan Ezeiruaku. That's what made Latu the top edge in last year's draft, was he had the better plan than anyone else. And both Latu and Ezeiruaku, really good run defenders as well.
And you know what guys like that do? Like those freak athletes. All right, we're going to get to Carter and Pearson, those guys. They make quarterbacks nervous. You know what a guy like this does? They make offensive tackles nervous.
Yeah.
Because what's coming next? And they have to play this. It's almost like a boxing match.
Like cat and mouse, yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking about, he's setting up, he starts with the jab, and he's setting up some sort of other move, and then he's moving inside. It makes offensive tackles nervous. And when football players are on the field and they have to think about what's coming at them, they're a little bit slower, right? Yeah. Ezeiruaku just has this entire arsenal, this whole plan just burned into it, right? And he's got the sequences right when you watch him. Again, you almost have to watch an entire game in sequence, or two, 3 games in sequence instead of just highlights, to really appreciate what he does. It's going to be, I think he's going first round at this point. The stock's rising. And again, I think his lateral agility and what he showed at the combine and the cone drills, that jumps on tape. Again, forward, straight downhill, decent explosiveness. Laterally, crossing lineman's face, getting down the line of scrimmage to the football, I think he's as quick as any defensive lineman, I should say, in this draft. I think Ezeiruaku is going to be a first-round pick and a really good one.
You're talking about boxing stuff. I know you're taking boxing classes right now. You try to have like a plan like that when you're...
Absolutely. Set it. Look at all... The great ones will always say it. Muhammad Ali would say, you set it up with the jab, and then you work off everything else off of that.
How's it working right now?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we're getting in a little bit better shape. We'll
right.
get there.
Oh yeah.
Still, it was a while since I had worked out. We're working on the endurance. Hey, I got a whole draft weekend of show to get ready for. I better be in shape for it.
I know. We're gonna be in rough shape for the draft show. We're gonna be on all 3 days with Trevor Seckham, all 4 days. Actually, we're gonna do a Sunday show as well with Trevor Seckham. So we're excited for that. But it's gonna be a long weekend for draft weekend. But obviously, Ezeiruaku, I mentioned before, his elite pass rush plan, great hand usage, very smart player as well. Awesome at the Senior Bowl. He was awesome at the Senior Bowl. I think he really boosted his stock there. Natural pad level, 6'3", and he's got 34-inch arms. That's 69th percentile for edge rushers. So even though he's a little shorter, he has longer arms. He actually has like a perfect build. I'd rather have a shorter edge with longer arms because that means you get the pad level and you can have the length to disrupt offensive tackles. So he's got the perfect build, I think, for an edge, and then elite bend as an edge rusher as well. And over the last 2 years, 90 pass rush grade and an 87 run defense grade. He is not only just a great pass rusher, he is a good run defender as well. Now, he is a little lighter. He's 248 pounds, not the best when he's taking on pulling blocks, and just an above-average athlete overall at the combine. Not anything special, but high-floor player, great pass rush plan, the best pass rush plan in this class. Really good fundamentals as a pass rusher and run defender. Maybe not the highest ceiling in the NFL due to the lack of top-end athletic traits and the power, but he's a strong fit, I think, for a 3-4 defense as an outside linebacker. He's a high floor player, too. So, again, guys that Dalton and I really like are the high floor players that we've seen great tape of. Donovan Ezeiruaku had great tape. And actually, Dalton, I made him my first-team All-American edge rusher alongside Abdul Carter because he was that good for BC last year.
It's reasonable. Look, Arizona Cardinals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers. I think it's former head coach Jeff Hafley's their defensive coordinator. Yep. And you know what? I'll say this much. If he doesn't have enough momentum to go that high, do not let him go to Philadelphia.
Oh, God.
Do not let Donovan Ezeiruaku drop to Philadelphia. If you want to make your own life harder, don't let him drop to 32. Because I'll tell you, and I know the Lions at 28 are going to be a thing as well. Hutchinson's often standing up in that defense, but that's a player right there where I look at it and I go, if he ever dropped to 32, we would just all throw our hands up.
He is exactly number 32 on the consensus board right now. So that might be a possibility. That would be incredible.
The ball's in your court, other 31 teams. Good
that
luck.
Would be insane. Like him or Nick Score tonight, they would just be unreal fits for that defense because it feels like both those guys could be around that range. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.